Hey, coffee lovers. Everyone loves coffee, right? So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Today we have an exceptional guest taking the coffee industry by storm. Bethlehem Antoine, the founder of Kesha Coffee, a specialty coffee company that sources and roasts beans from small-scale farmers in Ethiopia. Bethlehem's passion for coffee and dedication to supporting local farmers have led her to create a unique and delicious product that's taking the world by storm. We are honored to have her on the Hub2Connect Business Insights Podcast today and share her inspiring story and insights into the fascinating world of specialty coffee. So grab your favorite mug, of course, have your coffee now, sit back and prepare for an energizing conversation from bean to brew. Bethlehem, welcome to our podcast today and please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, Walid. It was an honor to come and join your program.
Thank you.
I really appreciate what you do as a Hub2Connect. I'm Bethlehem Antoine, and I come from Ethiopia.
I always read it, by the way, Bethlehem Antoine.
So I come from Ethiopia. I'm from Ethiopia. As you know, most of the people know Ethiopia, where coffee originated is from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Some people confuse this from Yemen, but Yemen is where the trade started. But coffee was founded in Ethiopia. And even the region where coffee is founded, named Kaffa.
Kaffa. We say it in the Balkans, we say Kaffa, by the way.
Kaffa is the small village in Ethiopia where coffee was founded, originated first.
Wow.
And that's where we started having our precious fruits. Actually, coffee is not like beans. We call it fruit. It's a cherry fruit. And from then, it became well known through the the Makkah market. But most of the people still confuse it like coffee is from Yemen. But no, coffee is from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So I am from Kesha Coffee Company. My company source coffee from Ethiopia, only from Ethiopia from now, and bring it to the Middle East and distribute green coffee.
Great. I had a beautiful question, but I think you already answered it. But can you tell us more about the types of the coffees of the coffee that is available, especially for this region in the Middle East?
Okay, if we talk about the variety of coffee, we have like major coffee is like Arabica and Robusta.
Okay.
In Ethiopia or most of African countries, we don't produce Robusta, we produce Arabica. So the Arabica coffee normally is very more tasty. And all coffee has to go under process. You have to process it in any way because it's a fruit. You have pulp on it. You have to remove the pulp. And you have like this golden skin on it. If that golden skin, you have to dry it on a high bed to the sun, it will ferment and then will have this caramelized thing. That is called honey processed coffee.
Okay.
That's one kind of a process. That we call that specialty process.
Yeah.
And then there is also this anaerobic one. This anaerobic honey process, this specialty coffee is nowadays in the market that most of the Middle East and the UAE market is demanding. Normally, what we used to have is natural and washed coffee. Washed coffee, when you drink it, is mild, lighter, and the natural one is stronger, have more fermentation, and kind of strong when you drink it. It has a lot of kind of character. That comes also from the way it's cultivated. For example, coffee takes the character of its environment. If you have a lemon tree around your coffee farm, coffee will have more of a citrus taste.
Oh, really?
Yes. So when you process it, you have to make sure that that citrus taste will come. If you have like spice around your farm, coffee will take the taste of that spice.
How interesting. I didn't know
I
that.
always say coffee has its own character, just like humans.
Yeah.
It just develops its own characters.
And it
Depends.
adapts in the place where
Exactly,
it is, yes.
exactly.
So in your opinion, what is the best place to have the coffee done? Should it be a full plain organic location, nothing around it, or?
It doesn't matter because you will have something around your area. It might be farms. It might be most of the time coffee coming from spices area like cinnamon, cardamom, or clove. Those kind of spices, the coffee will have a better taste.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when you come to Ethiopia, coffee from Harar, it's very tasty, amazing, and very unique because there is a lot of kind of good spice around it. And then you also have this taste of chocolate. And all this kind of things takes it from its environment.
Okay.
And you go to some areas, for example, they grow chili, and the coffee tastes like the
chili.
smell it tastes like green chili.
Wow.
And you have to be careful when you cup and then when you identify your coffee, how to distinguish it between each of the beans.
Now, I have noticed that there are many new coffee shops opening here in the UAE, but the coffee that I'm drinking in those coffee shops, they say that it is a specialty coffee, but the coffee is not the coffee that I'm used to drink. It's more like sour. So why is that? But the problem is I'm not able even to adapt to that coffee. And I like those coffee shops that are having that kind of sour coffee. Honestly, I'm not going to drink coffee over there.
Okay, I can explain why. Maybe you're so used to light, mild coffee because that coffee has been processed, washed.
Okay.
When the beans, after you pick it, it's a red cherry, as I told you.
Yeah.
You have to remove the pulp. So after depulping, you'll have
So this is the process of
the one
washing.
that you're drinking.
Washing.
The washing. So after depulping, it has to be soaked from like 12 to 17 hours.
Okay.
And then it will have some kind of fermentation. And then we have to take it out again to the washing station. And then it has to be fully well washed. And then it will be dry. When you see it, even the coffee, when you see the washed process and the natural process, the washed one will be like clean green.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you roast that, the taste is like light. You get still some flavor, but the flavor is not strong. The aroma is not that as strong as the one which is naturally processed or anaerobic. So most of the Middle East needs this kind of aroma, strong taste. That's why they prefer to have a natural process or anaerobic specialty coffee. So the coffee that you are most of the time drinking is a light one, or even the blend, maybe it will be more of Robusta and less of Arabica. It will be a blend. The one that you get in the UAE specialty coffee shop most of the time is pure Arabica coffee.
Okay.
And processed as specialty coffee or natural process.
Is this washed, or it can be washed and it can be pure, right? Or no?
Worst, you mean? Both
Washed.
are the best one. The washed one is like mild coffee. You don't.
Okay.
It's for example, for me, I prefer natural process or specialty coffee because you still want to have some taste and flavor. And when you give me your kind of coffee, the green coffee, the washed coffee for me is like flat.
Okay.
And it doesn't have that much of character.
Yeah.
And there's nothing.
Except if you double the shot.
Even if you double the shot, you're not going to get it.
Yeah,
The
okay.
shot will give you more extra coffee, but not more taste.
But not more taste.
Yes,
All right.
the taste comes from the process and the kind of coffee, the origin where it's coming from. As I said, the area where it grew, all this matters.
Okay. Good. And tell me, the company you are having now in the UAE is called Kesha Coffee, right?
Yes.
What does Kesha mean?
Kesha Coffee. Kesha, we took this name from Ethiopian. Normally, when we trade coffee, if you go to a market and ask for like one bag of coffee, it's like you have to ask and Kesha bunna. And Kesha means one bag of coffee. One bag meaning jute bag. Kesha is the jute bag.
Okay.
So it's also the measurement unit that we use in Ethiopia. One jute bag contains of 60 kilogram of coffee.
Wow.
Green beans.
So if you go to buy coffee, you get 60 kilograms of coffee.
Yes.
Not 500 grams.
No. If you said and Kesha, meaning one Kesha, meaning 60 kilogram of coffee.
Okay.
So the reason I came up with this is, honestly speaking, to support women producer.
Nice.
So if you see our logo, we have one Kesha, the bag, the jute bag, and then there is a lady hand carrying it on her hand. So it's representing women who are in this sector. So literally more than 75% of women are involved in the coffee sector. And it means like from producing, picking, sorting the coffee, cleaning, even if we are having coffee ceremony at home, it has to be done by your mom, your aunt, your elder sister, or yourself. No men are involved in coffee. But unfortunately, only 35% of the profit goes to the women who's been contributing to this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want and wish to see those women gaining from that profit, gaining better and getting paid.
So they don't get salaries, they just get 35% of the profit?
Depending on their contribution. It can be even less. 35% of the total of income that we get, the profit that we get through the coffee. Most 75% are involved are women working on the farm. Can be producing, can be washing, it can be picking when the fruit is ready, can be sorting out. It takes a long hour to sort out coffee. Men are only involved literally on loading and trading. So most of the job is done by the woman.
And they are doing the processes and everything.
Most of the thing. But they're the one who are paid very less. Plus they have burdens. They have to go back home, do the house work, which is a hard work. This farm, I don't have to explain people on the farm. And she has to go fetch water maybe a couple of miles for her people, for her family.
Oh my God.
She has to pick woods for fire. Beside that, she still have to work on the farm and coming back home again, taking care of the house chores. And
the children and...
Everything is her burden.
But at that time, the men are loading the coffee.
Exactly, and getting more profit. And they're the one who's more involved on the trade. And there are also some women who cannot even take care of their own land because they will be maybe pushed by the other men. If she's a widow, for example, if there is no man in the family who can help her, or she cannot take care of the whole farm, there might be people stealing her coffee.
Oh.
Yes.
And they want to take over the land or the farm or...
Even the whatever tree that she has.
Oh my God.
It's a struggle. It's very hard.
I can imagine. Oh.
So Kesha, that's the reason we put the women's hand. We want to benefit those women who even wants to sell the minimum amount of coffee. I want them to stay in the market. So as long as she processes it the way I want it, we always communicate and work together side to side. So we go check their farms, we go see things, we tell them how we want this coffee this time, how to be processed so that we can pay a decent wage. And even she comes with one bag, I will buy that one bag.
Wow. The 60 kg bag.
It can't even be less, but I cannot refuse that as long as she brings a good bean.
Okay. And tell me, but how do you maintain the quality, and the sustainability that your coffee, the coffee that comes from Kesha Coffee, is always the same quality?
I have to be honest with you. You cannot get the same quality. This is a crop. So this year you might get a very good quality based on the rainfall, because we depend on the nature.
Yeah.
So if we have less rainfall, for example, you may not have a good coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on the weather, for example, if there might be hail. So if we have those big grain hail, it will destroy the plant.
Oh yeah, hail always. We have it in Europe as well all the time.
Yes.
And it really destroys, because I know people there, they love to have farms, they love to have their own vegetables and fruits, and whenever hail is there, it just destroys everything.
Yeah. So whenever those kind of conditions are there, you cannot say that my coffee is 100% perfect. But the thing is, every now and then we visit the farm. We go to those people that we work closely with, the farmers, and then see how the product is going on. You can see from the beginning, when you see the flowering, you see the beans, how many beans you have in one branch. The amount of beans in like one branch will give you some indication about the quality and the health of the tree. And once you get it before the picking time, we have to go back to the farm again and then see how it's ripening. When they plan to pick the picking season, sometimes it will be overripe, sometimes earlier. So we have to travel every now and then to the farms and then see how it goes. That it can be guaranteed. The next step is, after picking the coffee, you have to bring it to the warehouse, to the washing station, to those kind of places. So during that process time, you have to be extra careful how the coffee is stored, how the coffee is processed, because if there is a little bit of damp or wetness, you might get mold.
Yeah.
Even if you get the perfect fruit, you might have.
But could it be that sometimes now I'm trying to relate to our previous discussion. If there is a sourness in the coffee, could it be that because there was a damp?
Sourness is not based on the damp. Sourness comes from the fermentation process or the roasting.
Okay, because sometimes I feel like...
You don't feel sourness. You might feel earth.
Maybe, yes.
Yes, you might feel that kind of taste. The flavor, it's like soil, damp.
Yeah, because I remember once my wife and I, we were having coffee. And, after the second sip, I was like, something is strange with the coffee. So it's not right. And my wife was immediately saying, I feel like, it was damped
moldy
in water. It was something. And like the waiter went, he changed the coffee. He said, okay, I have another blend. He got the other one, but it was exactly the same.
Most of the time, it's not easy in the UAE to keep the coffee in a perfect condition unless they have a professional who takes care of the beans.
Yes.
Because here, as you know, sometimes it's too hot, sometimes it's okay, and it's depending on AC.
Yeah.
So ventilation matters.
So what's the best way to store the coffee if you are buying coffee like as a wholesale?
As a wholesale, depending, but you have to put it in a rack where you can have ventilation. And
it should be, of course, air-conditioned space. And
yes, that's the reason. Normally, I'm still staying with the DMCC. They have a lot of professional people there.
Yeah,
they take care of our coffee.
So they already know the process of taking care of the coffee.
There is a big hub in Dubai, DMCC. I mean, they're amazing.
Yeah,
and under one roof, you have every service. So whatever you need there, depending on each bean, every coffee has its own moisture. So depending on the moisture of the coffee, they adjust the temperature. So you have to have people who knows how to do that.
Yeah.
So depending on the kind of the dryness or moisture, you have to set the temperature for that.
Now we were talking about the specialty coffee and the types of coffees for the Middle East. What about the coffees that are going to other than the Middle East? For example, Europe.
Right now, I'm not focusing as Kesha.
Yeah.
We're not focusing for Europe. Only we want to learn about the Balkans.
Yeah.
Your country, what kind of coffee they're having, because the Europe market, they buy all from Ethiopia.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the specialty as well, the commercial coffee. As a commercial coffee, there is a two kind of specialty, as I told you, based on the process. But commercial coffee, you have a blend of everything. So European market will take everything, especially there are these big buyers from Ethiopia. They will just collect whatever Ethiopia produced and then take it to Europe and then distribute it like to Ili, Lavazza, Starbucks. That's how they do. They are like big traders. Like
now in Europe, the most popular coffees are Lavazza, Ili Cafe.
Yes.
And there are some more.
Yeah.
So
those are the big brands.
And that taste of coffee is completely different than the taste in the Middle East.
The thing is, that one is a blend of a different kind of coffee. That you don't get one variety. The Middle East coffee, when you go to specialty coffee shop, what you get is one origin, which is like a single origin. That's what we call it. Maybe that coffee is collected only from one farm, and then you have only one test there. There's no mixing. But when you come to Lavazza, you have couple of percentage of Robusta that will enhance the smell, the aroma of the coffee, and an amount of Brazil Arabica, an amount of Ethiopian Arabica or Kenyan Arabica. It goes on. They will blend maybe 9-8 coffee.
Wow.
And the thing is, they may not focus. This is a large market. They may not focus on the specialty, small amount things. They are dealing with commercial coffee. So they will blend all those things and then roast it, process it. So for you, the first thing is the aroma. They work very well on the aroma. Then the bean quality, you don't know which beans they're using because it's a mixture.
Yeah, of course.
But when you come to specialty coffee, you know exactly what coffee, which farmer produced that,
and
where
which
you
bean.
got it, which beans. This bean is collected from this region, this type of the process. Everything is there for you.
Thanks for explaining that, because many people they see like it's written specialty coffee, but they don't know what is specialty coffee.
Honestly speaking, we have a lot of specialty coffee shop in the Middle East, and when you go there, you sit there and ask what specialty coffee you have. They will tell you Ethiopia, for example.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, give me Ethiopian specialty coffee. And I'm not gonna mention this, but once I was so surprised because I always believe a barista or whatever, whoever is working on that side is their profession.
Yeah.
So I don't even call myself a professional coffee person, because in coffee you always have to learn new things. Every day there is a lesson to learn about, and you have a lot of surprises. So I went to this coffee shop, asked for a specialty coffee because it said specialty coffee. So I was excited to be there. I said, I don't mind if it is Brazil or Ethiopia. I said, surprise me, I leave it to you. So I just want to taste the character. They said, oh, we have Ethiopia. I said, okay, which Ethiopia? Just bring it. So specialty coffee, normally some of the places they will serve you with a tag, how they were processed, which area, which origin, what kind of coffee it is.
Yeah.
They just brought me a coffee. He said, would you like your coffee? I said, how would it be better? I mean, if you want it as a pour over, you want it cold or
hot?
I'm like, I'm not a cold coffee drinker because coffee is
me too.
Has to be
it has to be hot.
And in my country, we don't drink cold coffee. We don't have cold brew. It's just nowadays for the young ones that we start having a cold brew. Never heard of cold thing unless we travel outside and then explore. So I said, no, make it hot. So he said, okay. And he brought it with a latte. I said, what's the specialty of it if it is with a latte? I expect an espresso or a pour over so that I can taste it. And it tasted so bad. I said, I'm sorry, but I didn't expect this. What coffee is this? He said, this coffee is Ethiopia. Ethiopia, which Ethiopia coffee? We have 80-something, 84, 86 variety of Arabica just in Ethiopia.
Wow.
And you have to, at least to tell me if it's a Sidamo, you have to tell me Sidamo, Harar, Bensa. There are regions that you have to tell where the coffee is. And I said, okay, I just don't want to stress the guy. So I just left it that way.
Wow. So not every specialty coffee is a specialty coffee.
No, it's not.
Wonderful.
And I don't blame the barista or anybody. The only thing is whoever is
they just get the beans or the blend and they just make the coffee.
Exactly. So whoever is pushing coffee should enlighten what people are drinking. Awareness will always help whoever is using the service.
And what about the Turkish coffee? Everyone, like many Arabs, they like to drink Turkish coffee. In the Balkans even, they love Turkish coffee. Even like in Bosnia, they say Bosnian coffee. Because they like they boil it in the Bosnian way. Actually, they first put it without water. They like a little bit burn it, and then they pour the water, like the hot water on top. Then it starts boiling, and then afterwards they remove it. So it gives like a different taste. But what is the process of making the Turkish coffee? Because even in the Turkish coffee, you feel lots of different tastes and blends, I believe. So is it the same?
For me, it's totally different. I'm not an expert on Turkish coffee, honestly speaking. But Turkish coffee, I really like it. And totally different from Ethiopian coffee, for example. And the way they brew it, a little bit similarity the way we brew it at home. And it's kind of stronger. It's not mild or you can still get the best taste out of the Turkish coffee. And the Turkish coffee, the way I'm not sure, but the way they brew it, I think they mix the powder with the water first. And then boil it.
It depends. Yes, the normal way, other than the Bosnian, which I was just talking about, they boil the water and then they put the coffee powder inside.
Yes, and they have to use this warm sand, hot sand.
Yes,
to brew it.
Yeah.
Yes. In Ethiopia, we have our own clay pots. So, coffee ceremony might take a minimum of 1 hour.
Really?
In Ethiopia ceremony.
Wow.
And every day we have that. So literally coffee is our blood. Because in the morning we might be rushing to the work.
Okay.
But especially if it is weekend, you might have that ceremony maybe 2 times or 3 times. Whoever comes to visit you.
So in Ethiopia, if you're late for work, you can say, well, I was having my coffee.
No. But the thing is, even after you come back home, the moment you come home, maybe if your mom is there, she makes sure that coffee is ready. So when someone is coming in, you will smell the incense and you will smell the roasted coffee. It's so nice. It's so refreshing and relaxing.
Definitely, you're making me want to visit Ethiopia now.
I will be happy. So we have, we don't have 1 cup of coffee. The Ethiopian coffee ceremony has 3 cups that you have to take. The first one is called abol.
Okay.
And the second one is dona.
Okay.
The third one is baraka.
Wow.
So we have 1 clay pot. We call it jabana. So you have to boil the water and put the powder. You have to guess it. It's not like by gram. or what you see in the coffee shop.
It's with
You have
experience.
to put
Yeah.
experience. That's it. You take like a couple of spoon and then put the powder there. And we don't grind with the machine, by the way. We pound it. We pound the roasted bean. And the
Okay.
way we roast it is not like lighter. It's a little bit darker. So
Yeah.
that when you pound it even, you don't get like fine powder. It's like a little bit, what do you call it, rough.
Yeah.
So when you pour that, you have to take it out and then put it back on a charcoal fire. Once it's ready, the first one is a very strong coffee. For you, it's going to be very sour.
Wow.
It's very strong coffee. The second one will be milder. The third one, the baraka, is very light. So when we used to be young, our family used to give us the third cup.
The baraka.
That's how we get used. And then you upgrade yourself to the second cup. And then when you're an adult, you upgrade yourself to the third one, to abol. Once you're addicted to abol, you don't want to drink the other one.
And what is the process of drinking the abol, right? Abol. The second one is Tona, and then the baraka.
Baraka.
Yeah? So before you go to work, do you drink all three?
Once the coffee is ready, you have to sit and finish the 3 cups.
No way.
Before you go to work, nowadays we don't do it. But when I come home, definitely we will have that. Even now in my house, I do it every day. Every other day, at least we have to have coffee.
And why does it take like an hour to?
Because
to do
you
that
have
ceremony?
you have to roast it at home.
Okay.
We don't buy like roasted beans. We have our green beans at home.
Yeah.
We roast it at home. We pound it at home. And actually, here, you might rush it and grind it. But in Ethiopia, one of the reasons that we have that ceremony, it's like networking. You have to call your neighbors to have the coffee with you. So it's culturally bonding the communities.
Yes.
And it's in a positive way. It's a very good manner that you gather all your neighbors together, your neighbor's kid. You have those small traditional breads and popcorns. Popcorn is like our dessert there.
Wow.
So popcorns, so even the kids, if they don't drink coffee, you give them that small bread and popcorns to share. They all have to sit together. They discuss whatever is in the market and the area. If there are fights, for example, people have to come together and then work through this conversation.
Wow.
There is a lot going on during this process. So when there is coffee, everyone is gathering, everyone is talking, everyone is chit-chatting, your friends coming from the neighbor. Next day is going to be
it's
you
like,
going.
like in the Balkans, we always say, okay, let's gather for coffee, or let's come for a coffee, or let's meet for a coffee. So probably this habit is taken from Ethiopia then.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah. Now I understand the reason why you did not want to have coffee during this podcast from the coffee from the machine.
No. You should visit Ethiopia, and then the moment you step in anybody's place, they say like, okay, bunna, make ready coffee. You have to make ready coffee.
You know, I think for our next event, we will have to have your coffee in the event. We will have to have all the 3 coffees.
I will be more than happy.
Definitely.
Yeah, there was an event.
It's the first time I hear about this. Really,
it's amazing. And by the way, in this Expo 2020, the Ethiopian Pavilion were serving coffee the whole day, the Ethiopian traditional coffee. And I was saying nobody will drink this coffee because it's kind of strong for other countries. So I was so surprised. People were like lining up to drink that coffee. I'm like, oh my God, people really like strong coffee.
Yeah.
Because I thought people are used to lighter and mild coffee.
To the lighter coffee, yeah.
Yes. And I would be more than happy to have Ethiopian coffee ceremony for you.
Definitely. You
For
know,
sure.
I drink at least 3 to 4 cups of coffee a day. But I think your coffee will make me full for a whole week, maybe.
Yes, it's very strong. And we don't have like big mugs. We have like small cups.
Yeah. Because usually they say when you drink coffee, you stay awake. You cannot sleep. But I always drink coffee before I go to sleep.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe...
It depends how you process it. I mean, how is it with milk?
It's the standard coffee, like the Nescafe thing and the
hot one.
Davidoff, with hot water and milk and
Yeah. Actually, coffee doesn't bother me. Even if I drink coffee now, I can still sleep. It doesn't affect me that much.
Good, because I know a lot of people who, if they drink coffee at night, they will not be able to sleep. No way. Okay, now when we talk about Kesha Coffee, okay, about your company, if anyone, because I will put down the links of your website and your contact details either in the video or in the description. So how, if I want to buy a coffee from you, what do I get?
No, right now, Kesha Coffee, immediately when I bring the coffee, we are focusing B2B.
Okay.
But immediately, since we have the facility in the DMCC, we're thinking of roasting and start the B2C online.
Okay.
So online, we have to discuss that, so that I can be able to say, because right now I'm not really into having a shop and then put a coffee.
I mean, everyone is nowadays buying online. I myself, I'm buying everything online.
Yes, not only that, because as a coffee person, I wish once I get through this baby step, I wish to have a place where people should come and experience it. So when you want to buy coffee, you have to be aware what you're drinking. You have to learn a little bit. You have to have the knowledge of what you want. And when I explain something to you, and when I know what you are looking for, it's easy for me to cater based on your interest. So I'm thinking of having a consultancy for coffee shops and roasters, as I told you, because a lot of people don't know coffee.
Yeah.
And for example, last time I was so surprised. I brought a different kind of varieties of beans and gave it to different kind of roasters to cup it, to taste it. So I put it like codes, so that for me, I know it, because I have a lot of varieties.
Yeah.
So for me, it's based on numbers, codes. And based on that coding, when the customer comes back to me to code this, I like it. So I will explain what that coffee process and everything. I put the process and everything with the code on the sticker for them to taste it. So they told me that everything was flat. I gave them 5 varieties, and then they came back to me saying that they're not interested because it's flat. Flat means for me, it's a washed coffee, very light. I said, no, it's not flat, because all the 5 varieties, because if it is Middle East, I'm focusing on specialty coffee,
of course,
natural one. I said, it's not flat.
So even people don't know what does flat means.
Yeah, they're telling me that it doesn't have character. That means you're giving us a washed coffee.
Okay.
When you see the beans between the washed coffee and the green coffee, the process, the natural process is totally different. The natural process is kind of yellowish, looks like a little bit dirty, because it takes the golden skin, which is caramelized when it's drying. So that will kind of yellowish or golden look. And even when you taste it, it's kind of tastes sugary, honey. But the washed one, it's green. So when you see the beans like this, you can identify.
Just visually, you can identify which one is the washed and which one is the pure.
Yes. Even if I roast it and give it to you, if you know about coffee, you know it, because you have the cracks. On the cracks, you see like whitish stripe if it is washed. But if it's not, even based on that, if you give me any kind of processed coffee and then roast it and bring the roasted one, I can see and then tell you that this one is washed, this one is processed. So they told me that this doesn't have that much of taste. And then I said, okay, maybe it's not their interest. After a couple of months, they called me and said, by the way, we want this kind of coffee from Ethiopia. Can you get it for us? I said, I gave the same coffee, the thing that you're asking right now. I gave it to you a couple of months ago. The code was this number. And you told me that it's a flat. They said, no. I said, yes. And they said, we want 500 kilograms. I don't have it now, because coffee is seasonal.
Yeah.
You don't buy coffee every day, anytime you want. You have to reserve it.
So when you want to buy a coffee, you should know when is the best time to order it, actually.
For me, for example, a couple of months back, I was in Ethiopia.
Okay.
I was on the farm side.
Yeah.
So you go there, you see the potential, you decide. I will say, if I buy half a container of this coffee, 10 bags of the other one, 20 bags of that one, you just consolidate everything and bring it here. Because you can predict the market based on the kind of coffee that we have. Then again, somebody comes, tells you in the middle of the year where there is no crop, they want 500 kilogram of specific coffee. You cannot get that. So you can only see, I have this. If you want, you can take this.
Yeah.
I don't want to lie to customers and tell you, I have it, and then
you give them something, else. Yeah.
They don't know what I'm giving them.
Yeah.
But you can cheat if they don't have the knowledge. But you cannot do that. It's. I cannot believe if people do that to me.
Yeah, I know, I understand. I mean, we know you very well in Hub2Connect, and that's why I wanted you to be the guest to talk about the coffee.
I'm so happy.
Because we trust you, and I'm fully aware that the information you are giving is 100%, not 100%, but 200% true. Great, excellent. Before we end up this session, do you have anything you want to tell to our audience?
I just wish to be in the Balkans market and put some awareness there. But I want to really, really thank Merciha.
You're most welcome.
And you.
Thank you.
Please, I don't know. And next time, physically, wherever she is, I'm willing to go and thank her, because in every step of my difficulties, I pick up the phone. I send her a message. She is always helping.
Wow.
I never met someone like her in the UAE. And Merciha, I met her like years back. And she just guided me through some kind of business that I wanted to try. And I'm so glad that I really talked to her. I just sent her an SMS message, and then based on that, she responded.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful person.
Thank you very much. Yeah, she always looks into helping business owners, everyone. Even, the podcast series that we are doing is just, to inspire businesses, to inspire new businesses, new startups, people who wish to open or start their own business, who are afraid to do that, because I know every one of us was in that stage. So it's just, it's just a way to give awareness to people that, yes, you are not alone. There are many of us who are going through, a lot to make our business.
Surprisingly, I didn't know that you guys were family.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I didn't know that, because I came to you for the website and everything.
Okay.
And I went to Mercia for advices from a lot of things. And finally, when I knew that, I was so happy. I said, oh my God. God
so
really
you found me
me.
separately and you found hers. Oh
Exactly.
my God. Oh my God.
And then I said, I ended up in the same roof.
Wow.
That means I must be very lucky.
That's how we are popular on social media. Good to know that.
God bless your work.
Thank you very much.
So honored to know you both.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And I want to thank you for coming today all the way from Abu Dhabi to our studio. I wish everyone listening or watching this podcast understands now much more about coffee and what is it to expect when they go to order a specialty coffee. So thank you, Bethlehem. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
And stay tuned. We will see you in the upcoming episode. Bye.